Hi, I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of experiences with Magi astrology and the beauty and actual simplicity of understanding some of the basics of this type of astrology. I have had for a few years now professional software for Magi astrology, and I appreciate that and the books from the Magi Society and their website. We've seen some very interesting things, some very good accuracy with Magi astrology, and I want to share a couple of examples. I have a friend who is also a client for astrological research and consultation with me, and he was able to take advantage of what is known as a grand trine planetary geometry. And for those that aren't very familiar with these astrological concepts, because Magi astrology is not only ancient but also very modern, using a lot of modern research, and analysis by supercomputers and so on. But yet planetary geometry in astrology is when the stars line up in a certain pattern, and this particular pattern is that of a trine, or a set of trines in a triangle. And it's kind of like being, like I remember when I was on the beach at Panama, at San Carlos, there would be some days when the surfers would come out and they would wait for that perfect wave to come in. And there is a saying in life that timing is everything. My father likes to use this saying a lot, and some other astrologers and even some ministers will quote the passage out of, I believe it's Ecclesiastes, or a place where it speaks about there's a time and a season for everything in life. So this is not only astrological, but it's biblical, you could say, definitely a spiritual thing. There really is a sense to timing. So back to my friend, who's a professional musician. He's traveled around the world, and in this particular instance, he was actually taking a trip to a very popular city, a very historical city for the type of music that he loves to play. And he had this grand trine coming up about 2 weeks ahead of this time that we were doing this astrological research for him, that I was doing his chart work and looking for planetary geometry and looking at the transits, looking at the general Magi calendar, and trying to align everything for his trip. Actually, we're able to get it down to within a few hours of this perfect timing that he had available. Again, very similar to being on the beach at Panama, where you're watching these surfers at the beaches at San Carlos, watching for that wave to come in, that perfect moment to go out and to try to catch that and ride it in. And this is what my friend did. He actually went to New Orleans on this grand trine, the perfect timing, and he was able to magically, within, you could say, 24 to 48 hours, he gets a phone call from a major network person, a contact person, who puts him into an overseas job, actually in Japan, at a $40,000 a year salary with a lot of great perks, at a very big, with a very big, well-known U.S. corporation as a musician. So he was very, very happy about this magical timing. He was very well rewarded because he was able to go to Japan and do this gig, this musical work, his music career, for many months, and he had a great time, and it's something that he'll never forget. In fact, he'll, I'm sure, be back there again as he continues to travel. Another example, however, that we can use these concepts and the sense of timing or planetary geometry is the Grand Cross. And this is when 4 planets align in a square pattern. Perhaps 2 are transiting and 2 might be in the natal chart. So what happens here is this is a sign of double turbulence. And I have had personal experience in my own life as I look ahead maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years, using this software that is so excellent and been so accurate, and able to determine when there might be periods of time in life that might be a time of double turbulence. And in the few years that I've been working with this software and doing observations and taking notes and living life, living this astrology, it's been absolutely accurate and priceless in terms of noting when, in particularly harsh planets, these times of a grand cross formation in the natal chart with transits are a time of double turbulence. And the beautiful thing about it is that, for example, it's not a time I would want to schedule a surgery, for example. Me personally, okay? I'm not a doctor. I don't give medical advice or anything like that. I'm not a medical doctor who can even begin to think about that. But in terms of timing, I certainly wouldn't want to plan, for example, a trip, a vacation, and certain other things. So knowing about grand crosses, for example, some people might even consider T-squares and other types of planetary geometry. Just the very basics, not to even be very complicated. I don't think one would even have to be a professional astrologer necessarily, although it's great to be one or to consult with one, and very beneficial. I think a lot can be said for just knowing, studying, and mastering the basics of Magi astrology and looking ahead at planetary geometry, and even in terms of one's own personal research, looking behind in your past to see how these planetary geometry have affected the days of our lives, and looking ahead and being better prepared to catch the wave of positive times in our life, or to avoid the more turbulent times of life, and at minimum be better prepared, and also encourage that these storms in life pass to better sunny days and to better times. I hope this helps and to stimulate interest in Magi astrology, and to have shared a couple of experiences and how it's helped my life and some of my friends' lives. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.